Hi guys, welcome back to University Insiders. Today myself and Hannah are going to be talking about interview prep and how to make sure you ace your university interviews. That's going to involve a few top tips and a couple of examples of a good and bad interview.
Okay guys, so we're just going to run through some top tips for you for when you're going for that university interview. So Anna and I have had a bit of a discussion, and we think that a really important one is that you need to turn up on time and have plenty of time before your interview to cater for any maybe getting a drink or things like that. What do you think, Anna?
So when I had my university interview, I thought, oh no, I'm going to be late. So I made sure that I was calling the university saying, you know, I am on my way. But we've been stuck in traffic because of weather, things like that. So a really important thing, you know, if worst case scenario you are on your way but you're going to be late, is kind of calling ahead, making sure the university know, because they'll appreciate that, you know, you're making the effort to call them and let them know what's happening.
Yeah, as well as that, I'd say make sure you take along your personal statement with you. So maybe print it off the night before and bring it along to your interview and just sit down and read through it before you go into that interview. Obviously they won't know much about you, so they'll base some of their questions on that. Did you have any questions in your interview, Anna, based on your personal statement?
Basically, all the questions in my interview are based on my personal statement. I'd had a read through of it beforehand, but I was a bit nervous. So when these questions came up, I was a bit like, oh my God, how does he know that I'm a huge Harry Potter fan? Therefore, oh wait, I've written it in my personal statement. Okay, so our next top tip is make sure you've done lots of research so you have some questions to ask during and at the end of your interview. It can show the interviewer that you're really interested in the course and that you have a really good idea of why you want to go to that university.
Yeah, so in terms of questions, it could be anything from course content, so what you'll be studying on that course, through to maybe what campus you're on or to do with timetabling. But obviously as you're doing your research, questions might come to you naturally, just through obviously researching different things and looking at maybe different courses at different universities. So I wouldn't worry about those so much, but I would say make sure you've got 3 or 4 questions before you go into that interview. You know, some of your questions might get answered throughout the interview, through talking to the interviewer, but just make sure obviously you've got maybe backup ones just in case.
Yeah, during my experience, both for university interviews and for just job interviews in general, I found that I'd need kind of a long list of questions, not like a really long list, but you know, 3 or 4 to make sure that I had a backup, because I'd be like, right, my number 1 question, and it would be answered because my interviewers were really on the ball.
You can fake it until you make it. You might be inside freaking out and thinking, oh my life, I don't know what I'm doing here, but what you wrote on your personal statement, as we've already said, are questions that they'll be asking you. So you've already got that experience, you already know what you're talking about in there, and nobody can take any of those experiences away from you. So just keep calm, stay composed, do your research beforehand, as we've said, so you've got a bit of knowledge on the course, and from there I think it'll all just come naturally to you. You've just got to obviously believe in yourself and feel as comfortable as you possibly can in that environment.
Also, remember that the interviewers understand that you're nervous. You know, it'd be kind of unnatural if you weren't nervous. I was definitely nervous for my university interview and for every interview I've ever had. So just remember that, you know, they're not gonna like pick you up on being too nervous or something. Just try and keep calm. If you feel like, you know, it's all getting a bit too much, have a sip of water. Give yourself like a moment to recompose, kind of calm yourself down again. I know that I definitely would always have a bottle of water in my interviews, so if I needed, you know, a moment to think about the question. But another technique that both myself and Hannah have used in the past is something called a power pose. So basically, a power pose is something you can do on your own, maybe go to the bathroom before you're about to go to your interview. Strike a pose that makes you feel really powerful and really confident. So when you go into the interview, you know, those last minute jitters have fallen away because you know you're powerful. Okay, so now Hannah's going to do a little bit of acting for us. She's going to be doing a good example of an interview and a bad example of an interview. You ready?
I'm ready.
Hi. Okay, so Hannah, in your personal statement you said you worked at a shoe shop whilst you were studying at sixth form. How do you think that's going to help you for university?
I'm in a business course and I worked in a business.
So can you expand on that a little bit for me?
I just did different jobs, so I served customers, I did a bit of online stuff, so there's different parts of my course that involve different things.
So what sort of different parts of your course do you think you'll need that?
Well, I help run the online shop and there's digital marketing as part of my course.
Right, okay. Thanks for coming in, Hannah.
Thanks.
Okay guys, so that was a bad example of how to do an interview. So Hannah forgot to follow our top tips. She came in far too casual and looked very professional, but she also spoke really fast in her answer, so didn't really give the interviewer any time to take it in. But she also forgot to relate any of her answers back to her course. So she kind of spoke about, you know, maybe the shoe shop, but didn't really relate it to her course and didn't really give much detail to her answer. Nice to meet you. So Hannah, your personal statement says that you worked in a shoe shop whilst you were at sixth form. How do you think that's going to help you at university?
Okay, so while I was working at that shoe shop, I was faced with many different situations. One in particular, I had quite a large workload while I was there, so I was managing the online shop, as well as serving customers, and as well as having to pack up deliveries ready to go out to people when they've been ordered online. So one thing for me was having to manage my time really effectively to make sure I had time to do all of those jobs properly, and not kind of cut any corners while I was doing that. So for me, the way I did that was going in, actually planning my time and making sure I allocated enough time for each set thing to make sure everything got completed to a high standard.
Okay guys, so that was a really good example of how you would handle an interview. So firstly, Hannah used some of our top tips. She made sure that she was dressed really smartly. She'd clearly done a power pose before she walked in the room because she was really confident, you couldn't see any of the jitters. But she also, when answering her question, made sure that she didn't talk too fast and that she was kind of really attentive and polite to the interviewer. Okay, thanks for watching guys. Remember to stay tuned to the channel to see what we're up to in the next few weeks.
See you soon.
Bye!